What's up YouTube, PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you comes to the NPBA. Now, I made these free agency swaps after week 1, but I did not get around to making a video about it, detailing why I made the swaps. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take care of that right this minute, right now. Absolutely got to make sure that that's done and done and done. So, without further ado, let's get into this. You're seeing on the screen the first swap that we made, the first mon that we scooped up. Looking at my team, I saw immediately that I did not have a rapid spinner, and that is when it comes to competitive Pokemon, especially in the Draft League format. If you're trying to live your life, dude, without a form of hazard removal on your team, you might as well just give up, because you've lost. You've essentially lost at that point. You've basically handed your opponent free hazard stacking on your team, no matter what. You're going to see toxic spikes, you're going to see spikes, you're going to see rocks all the time, and you need to be prepared to take lots of damage from those situations. I chose to go a different route and decide not to screw myself over like that by scooping up Donphan. I dropped Heracross, and my reasoning behind that is A, I plan on getting a different fighting type. B, bug coverage I really didn't need. Per se, bug coverage really didn't help me with anything particularly on my squad. I actually kind of just looked through, what my squad could handle, and really, honestly, the bug coverage wasn't necessary. So I just decided to drop that entirely. I didn't really need it, and then I plan on getting another fighting type, so that's not the big of a deal. Plus, I already have so many 4x weaknesses on my team, between, Hoopa U's 4x weakness to bug, T-Tar's 4x weakness to fighting, Zard's 4x weakness to rock, Chomp's 4x weakness to ice. I could not afford to have a 5th 4x weakness on my team. I had to get that out of there. So I made sure that was a priority. So there's that. So I dropped Heracross, and I was able to scoop up our good buddy, as you've already seen him putting in the work, Zanzibar the Donphan. Zanzibar provides us a lot of options. Obviously, it's not fast, but it's not meant to be. It's very bulky. Base 120 defense and 90 HP really helps out. Base 60 Spadef kind of stinks, but 9 times out of 10 we're not going to try to leave this thing in on a special hit. So we should be good there. Base 120 attacks are really helpful as well, as this thing gets a lot of good coverage. This thing gets sturdy, which is really useful. This thing gets a lot of good coverage. Obviously, it gets Earthquake. This thing can set up rocks itself, which is really, really huge, because looking at our team, when it comes to rock setters, we have Garchomp and we have T-Tar. And that's the only one, and Steelix, which is a decent amount of rock setters, but at the same time, I don't want to burden mons like T-Tar or Garchomp with setting up rocks, and I honestly don't see Steelix coming to every game to have to set up rocks, and that'd just be a pain in the ass. So having another potential rock setter is really, really nice. The stab Earthquake's really good, and it gets lots of good coverage, potentially for 4x weaknesses or something, or just for an extra coverage move. Like Fire Fang, Gunk Shot, Gyro Ball, Head Smash, Heavy Slam, Ice Shard, Knockoff, Play Rough, Poison Jab, Seed Bomb, Rock Slide. This thing gets coverage out the ass, man. This thing is insane when it comes to coverage. It's a lot of really interesting moves that I could definitely see myself taking advantage of, if given the proper opportunity. I might take advantage of a lot of them. But this thing can also serves as my team's only form of hazard removal with the Rapid Spin. Technically not the only form, because Megazard Y does get defog, but at the same time, running defog on a mon that's 4 times weak to rocks is just kind of like counterproductive. It's like, oh wow, I come in to get rid of rocks after the rocks have already ruined me beyond all reasonable belief. So having an actual form of hazard removal on the team really helps, especially with Zard and other mons that are weak to rocks. You know, Donphin doesn't take too much from rocks, comes in, takes very little damage, and is able to spin them away, and you know, we're good to go. Maybe at some point later in the season we can use one of our other swaps to scoop up a defogger, but that'll be something we discuss at a later time. Speaking of defog, I needed something that can kind of act as a stop, not so much a stop to defog, but something that could shy people away from using defog against me. And I needed a fighting type to replace, you know, the Heracross we just got rid of. And I'm looking through my team, and I look down at some of my RU mons. Now, mind you, the mon I scooped up, we bumped him up just because, you know, he has a lot of viability, in my opinion. You know, between his fairly good speed, attack stat, and coverage options, you know, I definitely think it provides us with what we need him for. But I looked at Exploit, and I'm like, literally, the only thing I'm going to be doing with this thing is probably Choice Specs Boom Burst. And I just don't see too many opportunities where I want to bring Choice Specs Boom Burst. I like running different things. I like running interesting things, and Exploit just doesn't do that. Exploit just isn't. Exploit is literally 100% one-dimensional. If anyone tells me otherwise, you're lying to yourself, because Exploit is Choice Specs Boom Burst. 9 times out of 10, even if you run a super effective coverage move, Choice Specs Boom Burst still does more damage. 9 times out of 10, even if it's resisted, Choice Specs Boom Burst still does more damage than most other moves you can run on Exploit. So at the end of the day, it just didn't. It just doesn't fit my playstyle either. You know, I mean, yeah, it's a little bulky and it's bulky offense. I like bulky offense, but at the same time, I also like having options. You know, I don't want to just have to click one move all the time in order to be useful. So I looked through the fighting types that we had in the RU tier, and lo and behold, it is that time. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. It has happened. We went through a season and a half in the PFC, the SBL, the PPBA, the MBC, Fella, PFL, minors and majors. We've been through all of these leagues, and it's just taken till now. NPBA Season 2, for us to finally do it, we got our boy, Prime Time. Oh my lord, I pressed the wrong buttons. Jesus Christ. Hold the phone, I am pressing the wrong buttons. Prime Time, the Primeape, ladies and gentlemen, he is here. Finally, it's about that time. Primeape actually does work really well for our team. It does provide us that fighting type coverage with the close combat, which is what I really needed. He also hits really hard with a lot of other moves. It gives us acrobatics, which is kind of nice. Double Edge, Earthquake, Final Gambit if I really need it. It terrifies me to use Final Gambit on my beautiful Primeape because it makes he has to die. But if he has to, he can do it. He can make the sacrifice for the team. Fire Punch, Gunk Shot, Ice Punch, can Hone Claws for setup. Night Slash, Outrage, Overheat, why not? Poison Jab, Power Up Punch, C-Bomb. Like if you really look at Primeape, he's got a lot of coverage. Plus it gives me a U-turner. It gives me a U-turner to go along with Heliolisk's Volt Switch, which is really, really useful because I don't really have too many
volt turn options, which kind of stinks because I do like running volt turn. Volt turn is really, really useful in my opinion. So having a U-turner in Primeape really, really ups the quality of our team in my opinion. Having him there is gonna do a lot for us. So we actually can form a Volt Turn core with Primeape and Heliolisk and have it do a lot of work. So that's our team changes. Those are gonna be the new members of our squad. If you guys are hyped, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I am PokePrimer, signing off.